work in forest conservation. Then we had today morning we had session by uh, Jawaharlal Nehru Planetarium Director Pramod G. Galgali and B.S. Shailaja, Dr. B.S. Shailaja. Then we had presentation by Kapil K. Tripathi from Vignan Prasar, and then we had presentation by Kripakar Senani, wildlife photographers. So now, dear participants, it is the last session of Indian Science Fiction Conference, followed by there will be valedictory after this session. I welcome all of you to this last session. We have successfully conducted 3 days program. Today we have with us our esteemed guest from Estonia, Ms. Maya, who is a documentary filmmaker. I extend very warm welcome to Maya on behalf of Department of Electronic Media, Bangalore University, and all the participants. Welcome, Maya.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, and I welcome my dear colleagues, Dr. Rajeshwari and Dr. Shripati, to this program, and I also welcome all my colleagues who have joined now in this through online, and also all my guest faculty and my students participants. Now I request my colleague Dr. Rajeshwari to introduce Ms. Maya to the participants.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Maya. I am delighted to introduce Ms. Maya Halek, a Estonian film documentary maker. And after her graduation in 2008, she did a European voluntary service for half a year in Mexico, teaching English and giving drama classes to indigenous youngsters. Upon returning to Estonia, she started her studies in Viljandi Cultural Academy. She achieved vocational higher education a degree in 2013 in theatre acting. After getting the theatre education, she was compelled to still learn a bit more about life beyond acting. So she went to a trip to Australia and Indonesia for half a year to gather inspiration. Back to Estonia, she did a 3-year for a psychotherapy course in School of Transpersonal Psychology and hypnotherapy, Triedlik Maina. And upon completing the course in 2015, life led Maya to yet another new direction. She opened a bookstore for used books, which she has been running ever since. And the bookstore has played an important role in Maya's life by being, in a way, a stabilizing place for her. And the studies of documentary film in Baltic Film, Media, Arts and Communication School took off in 2018 for Maya. Documentary filmmaking has become something in which Maya feels that she can synthesize her various life experiences and give an artistic form to them. So this is the brief introduction to Maya Halek, and welcome, Maya. Thank you for obliging our request to be the speaker of this session. Please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as I understand, we will be watching also my documentary today. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So in which order would you like us to proceed now? Would you like me to have a small introduction talk, or will we watch the video that has made previously?
Please start with small introductions so that then we'll play the video. We are ready with the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Maybe you can share your experience of documentary filmmaking or whatever, or you can give introduction to the documentary which we are going to play now.
Mm-hmm. Just I believe that the video that I sent you, the 12-minute video, is an introduction to the film. So maybe it is just the best idea to start with the video.
Yeah, we have two videos. Which one to play now?
There is a 12-minute introduction video where I am speaking, and then there is the actual documentary, which is 15 minutes.
Fine.
So we could maybe
Yeah,
or
sure.
start or watch the shorter video?
Yeah.
Hello to everyone. My name is Halek and I'm a documentary filmmaker from Estonia. Hello to everyone. My name is Halek and I'm a documentary filmmaker from Estonia. And I'm really glad to be able to take part in this international science fiction congress, and also to be able to share some of my work with you. So today I'm going to talk a little about my last documentary film that was released this September. It's called The Backwoodsman, and it tells a story about a young man named Mati, who is a forestry worker and an environmental activist. He lives in a small village here in Estonia, and well, he's always used to having lots and lots of forest around him. His whole life worked in forest, but during he notices how the full-grown forests are vanishing in alarming rates in his neighborhood. So he wants to do something about it, and well, he becomes an environmental activist. So I'm going to talk a little about the process of how we made this film, which were the driving forces behind choosing this topic, and also why is this topic so important these days, and also why documentary film as such is such a good medium to give out some knowledge, to share information to others. Well, the making process of this film has certainly been an amazing journey, and I'm really lucky and grateful to Matti that he actually let me so close to him and really let me experience his life, and he really shared his ideas and inner thoughts. This always gives a lot of strength to the character of the film. And well, the driving motive behind this film was my desire to understand better what is going on in Estonian forestry, and really to understand these complicated processes, these conflicts of interests between the big forestry companies and environmental protectors. During the last decades, many Estonians have become increasingly worried whether our natural resources are being used in a sustainable way, or do we manage our forests too intensely. And the last 20 years in Estonia have really shown an alarming growth in the numbers of the clear-cutted areas. And often the opinions and press releases done by big forestry companies and environmental organizations are completely opposite. So the big companies are constantly stressing that all the cutting that is being done, it's done in a sustainable way. New forest is being planted constantly, that everything is just fine. In the same time, the environmental organizations are letting people know about their worry of extinction of biodiversity in our forest land, with the forests becoming younger and younger during time. The decreasing amount of older forests, which are usually better resistant to different illnesses. This is a big problem. And also just the loss of this natural environment that we people are used to enjoy. And it is no big secret that a big part of Estonian forest is being exported to Western Europe nowadays, where it is used as sustainable energy source to meet the requirements of the climate agreement between countries. But it has really gone out of hand in a way, and our land is now being clear-cutted in a faster rate that no one could ever imagined. So when I started off with this project, I made it as my duty to try understanding these processes, to be able to tell a story through someone's personal experience. So this is how I found Mati, who had the two sides in him, the education of the forestry, and in the same time the experience working together with environmentalists. Yeah, this is something that we documentary filmmakers tend to do, that we try to explain global issues by putting a human face to it. And this is actually why documentary films can be so powerful, because they help us to engage to a topic also emotionally, which is far more stronger than just having a knowledge about something. So documentary storytelling is a way to convey visual information in an engaging way. Yeah, as we know all, then like this world consists of stories. There are personal stories, stories of communities, global stories. It is really important to share them to one another, and I think documentary film is a brilliant way to bring someone else's experience to be felt by others, and to let us step in the shoes of another person. Yeah, and also documentary films can be a great platform to start a dialogue, to start conversations about something. And as we tend to only remember about 10% of what we hear, and about 20% of what we hear, then with the visual information we usually remember about 80%. So it's quite a big difference. Okay, enough about the promo for documentary films. If to talk a little bit more about the shooting period of this film, then well, I met Mati at the beginning of this year, and most of the shooting was done in April. But April was a month when the COVID pandemic really hit off its first wave here in Estonia. And we were really thinking like whether we should do it now, or we should, or whether we should postpone. But well, in the end, I'm really glad that we still decided to move forward with it, and we were able to film Estonian nature also in this most special time during spring, when everything is slowly becomes to life. I was there in Kääpa village together with my cinematographer Suraj, who is also from India. So greetings to him. Yeah, we were able to capture some really special moments, some really special animals, which Mati led us to see, which we were hunting or waiting sometimes for 1 hour or 2 hours, 3 hours to see them. So we did see the beavers and the badgers, for example. Yeah, a lot of beautiful memories from this shooting period, and a lot of great talks with Mati. He's really great in conveying information in a way that it is interesting to listen to him. And I really hope that this film can bring some new awareness to a group of people who sees it here. I believe in a way this film is very local. It has like a very local importance, but in the same time, deforestation is a global issue as well. So we should. I think there is something for everybody to see there. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. I hope you enjoy the film, and I will be listening to your questions later on and trying to answer them as well as I can. So enjoy the film, and bye-bye. Yes, I'm sorry that the video didn't seem to play very well, or maybe it did for you better than for me, but so we'll start with the film, as I see.
The movie?
I am sorry, may I ask, does it play normally to you, the video? Or is it just me that I see it, like that it's stopping all the time?
No, yeah, I think, yeah, it's getting stuck and played, actually. Yeah.
Or
Play.
yes, it should not.
Shall I play it again? Hmm. Okay. Is it possible to play from your end? Can you share the screen?
Okay, let me see. Maybe I have never done it though, so I can see. Wait,
if video
I
is
actually
ready.
have a YouTube link for the film.
Yeah,
Maybe I can send you
you can
that.
play from there. You can play from there.
Yes, just a moment. I'll send you the link because it would be too much pain to watch it like that. Mama.
Resolution ಹಿಂಗೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ.
Where can I write here? On
You
Zoom.
just play from like share screen. Click on share screen, which
Share
is in
screen?
green
Yes.
color. Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. Then did you keep the video open?
Or
Is
maybe
that video full open?
I would just send you the YouTube link.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is easier.
Please share me the YouTube link in the chat box.
In the chat. Okay,
Yeah,
I do
put
that.
it in the chat box. Yeah.
Okay, please try that.
Yeah. ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಕತೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಇದೆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಪನೇ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ.
Are you able to open it through the link that I sent?
Yeah, we are trying. Wait, 1 minute. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್
ಅಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಇದಾ ಎಷ್ಟಾ ಹೋಸ್ಟಾ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ನೋ. ಈಗ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ?
ja korjasin prompt seeni. Aja jooksul, kui kasvasin suuremaks, muutusin julgemaks, siis ma leidsin mõne kukeseene koha, võib-olla 50 meetrit sellest rajast, mis ma olin harjunud käima. Ja siis ma käisin ühte sedasama rada ja siis niimoodi aja jooksul kujunesin.
Okay. Yeah, what happened?
I believe you have it open in two places, maybe in the VLC player and in YouTube, because it's coming from two places.
Oh, is it? No. Actually, we have stopped it. Yeah, well, shall we try it again?
Well, yes, but right now it just echoed. It was playing double from two sources.
Kahe linnaga.
Teised see Jenksi joonist siis tuli mõte vaatama selle jääseadusest, et muudatused jällest või paljud koerad ja sellised sõlmine väike ulub ja tegelikult võetakse ju maaomanikul see õigus ikkagi käest ära.
He's playing from two different sources. It does not sound like that.
See on piirkond, mille RMK on märkinud üraskite ühe.
I think you have it open in many tabs. Up in the...
No, it is in this only. You just close everything. Yeah. Now play. Yeah. Share screen.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you see just missing one sweet?
Täiesti, et noh, ma teeks ettepaneku, et teeme teaduseelnõu Sellest sügisest põdrajaht lubatud ajad ainult jänesega.
Is it okay, Maya, now?
Hea pühade
Yes,
teema.
I think now it's just...
Paneme ainult jänesega lubatud põdrajaht. Ei hiilimisvaritsus, ei mingid jähte, muud. Hakkame jänesega ajama metsast põtru välja.
But if we may now start watching it from where we stopped before.
Ühesõnaga, mina olen Liina Steenberg, päästame Eesti metsad mittetulundusühingust ja soovin siis teha sellise telefoniintervjuu.
Ma olen 3. põlvkonna metsamees, et minu vanaisa juba töötas metsas, et ka tema pidi tegelema selle üraski probleemiga näituseks või? Et selles mõttes, et ma olen nagu põlvest põlve, oota korra, vabandust, lapsed, palun olge tasa. Et ma olen 3. põlvkonna metsamees ja haridus on mul Luua metsanduskoolist. Ma pean ütlema, et mingi alustala ma sealt Luua kindlasti sain. Vaat siuksed. Hallo?
Ja, ma kuulen. Ja, ma kirjutan parasjagu ka.
2 aastat tagasi tuli esimene suur üraski puhang, mitte midagi ei tehtud. Erasektoris oli ka üsna rahulik. Siis tuli järgmine aasta, siis hakati nagu muretsema, erasektor hakkas muretsema, et midagi on valesti ja nüüd oleme jõudnud nagu põhimõtteliselt nagu 3. aastasse. Ja nüüd on siis niimoodi, et täis lauspaanika, me peame üraskiga võitlema läbi raiete, et me magasime tegelikult selle momendi maha, kus üraski oleks saanud kohe maha suruda.
Selge. Ma olen aru saanud, et inimeste teadlikkust tuleb tõsta, sest et paljud on olnud lihtsalt sellises infovaakumis ja kui vaadata ka seda, kuidas neid uudiseid kujundatakse, et Aktuaalses Kaameras ka see, kui tuli see üraski metsade maharaiumise jutt, siis näidati ainult RMK arvamust kõik.
Ja.
Mitte midagi vastaspoole kohta, et ma mõtlesin just, et peaks keskkonnaorganisatsioonidega kirjutama ERR-ile, pressinõukogule kirja, et kui on sellised teemad, kus on ette näha vastuolu, siis on ette teada, et on mingi teine arvamus, nagu see õlitehas, need üraskimetsad, et siis ei ole niimoodi, et pääseb AK-s eetrisse ainult riigiasutuse seisukoht ja nii ongi.
Väga õige.
Huvitav, jah. Et praegu nad on ikka nii kõvad veel omast arust ja nii arvamusel endast, et murdumismärki nagu ei ole veel. Et ju nad siis on veel nii enesekindlad, et midagi ei juhtu. Aga juhtuma hakkab siis, kui RMK juhtkonnas midagi hakkab juhtuma.
No ma arvan,
et sel hetkel toimub muudatus, ennem ei toimub midagi vist.
Ühiskond hakkab nõudma RMK juhtkonna väljavahetamist on. Sinna poole see asi liigub, sest kogu aeg on üks jama teisi otsa, et ja tegelikult oleks igatepidi vajalik. Aga see on siuke kõrgema poliitikute otsustada. Kui oligi poliitik, kes mulle kirjutas ja nõu küsis, mitte mingisugune tavaline.
Ja arvata või?
Et ta oli Riigikogu valimistel kandideerinud.
Nime ikka ei mäleta.
Jah.
Ta oli siis, mis liinis ta oli?
See on EKRE.
EKRE.
Ise mõtlesin ka, et miks RMK talle nii põhjalikud vastused kirjutas. Kui juba siukene ka mingi ärimees.
Tõesti. Kui natukene prestiisem vend on, eks siis ei saa vastamata jätta.
Olgu. Davai, tšau. Et Siim praegu helistas ja ta mõtles niimoodi, et kuidas oleks lihtsam, aga mina alati mõtlen niimoodi, kuidas strateegiliselt hästi kaval. No, toome nad ikka käepale ja siis ikkagi alustame seda põldu ikka käepalt ja mitte kohe nagu metsast, vaid ikkagi tsivilisatsioonist ja siis läbi metsa. Mina olen niimoodi.
Aga tegelikult ka me tahaks, et sina räägid, kuidas sul praegu läheb, kas sa oled üksi või sul on nii-öelda veel kompanjone, ja millega sa nüüd tegeled?
Ma mõtlesingi, et lähme metsa ja seal on hea jalutada ja nautida loodust, koguda seda looduse energiat ja ühtlasi siis jagada neid teadmisi.
Sa käid siin kaju ääres või siin on jõgesid ja kaju?
Ma valvan Omedu jõge, Kullavere jõge, Kääpa jõge ja siis seda kaju järvestikku. Selline keskkonnainspektsiooniga mitteametlik koostöö. Et pakkuda tuge nagu keskkonnainspektsioonile just nende metsa raiumiste ja asjade koha pealt. Et aga siis ongi, et meil on vaja, või?
See on vee all.
Jah, ja see kevadeti on see luht on kõik vee all või? Ja siia tuleks 7-8 kilosed avid kudemale. Siia? Jah. Ja siis... No põhimõtteliselt jah, et me oleme metsa tohutult üle raiunud. Kuuse üleraie on kestnud juba oma 20 aastat. Et meil ei ole lihtsalt neid majanduslikult küpseid kuusikuid, seaduse järgi on meil see vanus paika pandud, et kus saab küpseks, aga meil ei ole isegi, me oleme selle nii alla kiskunud või? Ja ikka meil ei jätku või? Ja nüüd tuli see ürask, nüüd saab 30-40 aastaseid või. Kuskil on mingi üraski kolle eralduse peal, võib-olla see kolle ulatub 20% eralduse pindalast või, aga nad saavad selle ka kogu eralduse maha võtta, saavad selle terve metsa ka ära tuua sealt või. Et isa ka just sain eile kokku, siis ma näitasin ka talle seda üraski videot ja siis ta küsis, et kuule Mati, kas asi on tõesti nii hull, ta käis seda pabula loendust tegemas. Ja RMK ala, kus oli ühest, ütleme, 1000 hektariline ala ja seal olid tohutud raied tehtud. Kui sa teed seal ajutatud näituseks 40 aasta peale sellised natukene võtad ja siis tuled võib-olla 5 aasta pärast tagasi. Aga mis RMK teeb, ta viib tehnika sinna kohale, mis on majanduslikult otstarbekam kui niimoodi jupikaupa võtab ja ta tekitab loodusse tohutu katastroofi. Ükski elusloom ei suuda kuu ajaga ümber kohastuda selle tohutu inimtekkelise muutusega.
Üraski probleem on ju kogu aeg olnud, jah? Või ta on hooti niimoodi, üles-alla liigub?
No ütleme niimoodi, et ta on kogu aeg metsas olemas või?
Yeah.
Aga nüüd inimene on kogu aeg ette valmistanud seda keskkonda, kus talle sobiks elada. Ja nüüd tuli üks siuke pehme talv ja ta sai selle viimase tõuke või? Inimene on kõik valmis teinud tema jaoks ja nüüd tuli see pehme talv ka. Ja nüüd me ei saa enam seda purki tagasi, seda üraskit. Et kui üraski laine kestab 10 aastat, siis põhimõtteliselt me võime oma kuusikutega hüvasti jätta.
Aga mida siis teha? Võtamegi maha.
Me peaksime täitsa nullist alustama, et mitte, me ei saa tema vastu nagu tohutult võidelda, me saame alustada metsa istutamisest. Praegu RMK istutab üle 9 miljon kuuse, mina tõmbaks sealt 8 miljon taime kohe maha. Minu meelest müüge kas või välismaale maha.
Et Eesti need on kahjustatud taimed?
Need on täiesti toimivad terved taimed või? Aga nad istutavad nad Eesti metsa, loovad monokultuuri ja me pärandame sedasi lastele tohutu probleemi.
Kõik on siin kinni, kõik on siin kinni, mõtleme ainult tänasele sellele päevale, et see maa ja see mets kuulub mitte meile, vaid lastele ja laste.
Ja, aga sellepärast ongi ikkagi seda teadlaste massi, et me nii-öelda ikkagi need, kes jagavad asja, need räägiksid sellest ja neid tuleks ka kuulda võtta.
Ja kuidas siukese asja vastu nagu valmis olla, mida vanemaks mets saab, seda ta kogub immuunsussüsteemi. Endasse nagu, et siuke 300-aastasest mändi on palju raskem maha murda mingil patogeenil kui mingit 60-aastast mändi. Et tal on geneetiline kood, mille ta siis seemnega pärandab. Mul on see viga, et ta tohutult palju räägib.
Vaata, see on hea, vaata, me olemegi praegu nagu koolitunnis oleme.
tõenäoliselt sisse läinud sinna siuke augukene või noh, siukene ta näeb välja, et siukese auke tuleb.
Oi Mati, meil on palju teha. Oi, issand.
Oi, mul on seda itsu ja vindu.
Küll me hakkama saame. Kaasamõtlejaid ju palju, et seda veel enda taha saada, et vaata, ütleme, tegelikult oleks vaja ikkagi välja mõelda see kava, mismoodi.
Ja see vajab väga hoolikat ja süstemaatilist tööd.
Isegi ega väga nagu nii-öelda detailidesse ei peagi minema, et me saamegi seda öelda, et nii-öelda need lageraied või need nii-öelda kindlad printsiibid, nagu mismoodi siis meie tulevikus majandaks teisiti.
No mis on tema kogu aeg rääkib, mis on Mati kogu aeg rääkib.
Ei, no ongi, aga vaata, need on vaja selles mõttes nagu, ma ei tea, 8 või 10 postulaati paberil, sest ega vaata inimesele ju, no ta tahab lihtsalt nii-öelda sellist asja näha, eks ju, et nii detailidesse ju meie oleme nii rumalad, et me ju detaile ei jaga.
Ja, aga Mati, me peame ilmselt midagi tegema, me peame su Riigikohtu ka.
No, jah.
Jah.
See ei ole lihtne, aga...
Kui on eesmärk olemas,
ei, igal juhul.
Kui siuksed mehed see on, siis on jumal, siis me muudame kõik siin ära.
Nii. Seda ma aimasin, mul siin Riigikokku tahavad suruda. et sinna poole see asi kisub. Mulle saadeti mingi võõras telefoninumber, saatis mulle sõnumi mingis metsanduspäev, mingi EKRE korraldas, mingi võõras sõnum tuli. Ma mõtlesin, et ma lähen, vaatan, mis seal toimub ja sealt sai kogu asi alguse.
Yes.
Nad ütlesid, Mati, et järgmine võtab poliitilisele karjäärile, et nad kuulsid, kuidas me esinesid seal publiku seas ja siis nad ütlesid, et Mati, kas sa tahaksid aga poliitiliselt ka midagi ette võtta ja siis nad hakkasid vaikselt moosima, kompisid pinda ja alguses ma olin natuke niimoodi, et no olgu, et kui te nüüd võime seda arutada, et ma nagu natukene jätsin ukse praukile, et vaatame, mis nad teevad, et kui väga nad ikkagi mind tahavad. No siis juba käepal ja ütles, et Mati, ei, meil on siin kindlasti vaja, et siis mul oli niimoodi, et aha, neil on tõesti.
You are able to hear me, right?
Nad tahavadki ja nad rääkisid, et tahavad ja kõik seda ja mul oli seda, nende inimestega.
We were filming mostly during this year's April and also then in June. And well, indeed, it was a difficult time because of the corona issue. So we really needed to stay there in the village and live with these people in order that they would, let's say, trust us enough to let us in their homes. Because at that time everybody were afraid of having too much contacts, and as we were from the capital, from Tallinn, together with the cinematographer, then we were coming from especially the crisis part of the country. So we really had to, we stayed there. We lived in the same house with the main character in another apartment, and that's how we slowly built their trust, so to say. Yes, well, in general, I believe that building the trust with your main character is probably the most, let's say, key issue when you start with a new film. Because when your main character doesn't feel comfortable around you, then they will not open up for you either, and you will not get the material. It doesn't matter how much you will film, all this material will be without a meaning. So it is very important to, when you start shooting, to first give enough time for your main character to adjust to this new situation. So also to, on the first meetings, it's not advisable at all to take a camera with you actually. So it is good to just have some one-on-one talking. And even if you start filming, it is good to approach the person step by step, meaning that you will not put the camera straight onto their face, but you will start off from a bit distance, so a person would feel comfortable, because everyone have their own personal space, you know, and to intrude that personal space, you really need to win the trust to be able to do it, to get close-up shots of a person's face, let's say. You really just need to give time for it. And of course, we also filmed a lot more than what ended up in the film. I believe we had some 30 hours of material, from which a 50-minute film was put together. So we really had to choose, had to make a lot of decisions on what we will be using. Often it was also the question if with one scene we had captured enough to really give the meaning of the scene, or maybe we had not taken enough shots. For example, we had some very nice heartfelt material where Mati was communicating with her mother. But because when we were visiting Mati's mother, she also offered us some food, and we were all eating together by a table. So it didn't feel appropriate enough to constantly be filming. So that's why, for example, I needed to kill that darling. There is a saying, kill your. So even if some shot seems very, very nice and picturesque, you might need to let it go because it doesn't, because you don't have enough material to convey the meaning of the whole scene. Or from the other way as well, you need to make those decisions what to take in or what to leave out constantly, because of the overall meaning, what you want to convey. You cannot, well, this is something that I also thought connected to the topic that you have proposed, that communicating science through visuals. I guess often when a scientist writes a paper, he or she wants to convey as much detailed information as possible. But when it comes to filmmaking, well, first of all, we need to think who is our target audience. And usually the target audience is not just other scientists, which is a narrow group of people, but we will forward this film to a larger audience, which means that the film can never be as specific as a scientific written paper. We need to make these decisions. What will we include and what will we leave out for the person who is, let's say, interested in the topic, can further investigate after watching the film. So it is not very advisable to get stuck into too many details, but you have to all the time have the larger picture in front of you, so that you are finding the essence of what you want to convey and giving the key elements to it. Yes. And also, I think, well, there is nothing more important or stronger than a human being with their personal story on the screen. So I guess, or my belief is that even if we want to convey some very important topic, information through a documentary film, then we must give the space for the viewer to also engage emotionally. And this is when it comes to play, to get someone's face on the topic. Let's say that there is somebody, a person, real life person who the viewer could engage and feel together with. It can also be, it doesn't need to be the main character that you see on the screen. It can also be the voiceover, let's say the filmmaker themselves. They can be talking on top of what it's seen on the screen, but you are still feeling that you are going on this journey together with someone. I think it gives a lot of strength to a scientific film.
Can you please elaborate on cinematography, because you have shot in deep forest and moving in a moving vehicle?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Can you please talk about camera work, how you have done? Because in deep forest, moving vehicle, during rain, mist, and all, you took visuals. So how did you take? Can you please elaborate upon it?
Well, I was very lucky to have a skilled cinematographer, Suraj Suresh. He's also there at your university. He was my cinematographer, so it was a lot thanks to his knowledge that we we got to get those shots that we have. But of course, sometimes it was quite hard to, for example, carry the tripod into a deep forest. There were many challenges or challenging moments for sure. But you have to be persistent, I guess, and keep it calm, keep your nerve. When it comes to, for example, we have some wildlife shots about some animals. So we really had to be staying in the forest and waiting for the animal to come out and press the button at the right moment. And yes, also to carry the tripod with us through the same terrain that you are seeing now on the screen here. It was sometimes very challenging, and of course, when it started to rain, then it rained, and maybe we had to stop the shooting for a while. Yes, I don't know what else to say.
You took why? How did you make a choice of taking this kind of topic and narrating in this way?
Well, this film was my master's thesis work in the university where I was studying, Baltic Film and Media School. And this problem with the forests has been a growing burning issue in Estonia for already some time, and I have been following this topic for quite some time. In the same time, I have maybe not gone so much in depth before to really understand what are those discussions about. So choosing this topic came out of my personal interest to actually take a standing point on the topic, to have enough boldness to say that, yes, I have digged into it and this is how I see it now. And yes, at the beginning, I had the plan to make a bit wider collection of stories of people's viewpoints and to talk with the representatives of the forest industry as well as the environmental conservationists. But because this corona situation happened, then I had to make the choice to limit my let's say, contexts. and this is how I came to Mati and decided to make it more like a main character-based story. Otherwise, I might have also gone with the way that me myself would be the, let's say, main narrator of the story, looking to find the answer to the question.
Participants, if you have any question, you may ask. Okay.
How do you prepare yourself before the shoot? Well, what we did every day was that we watched through the material that we had shot last time, and we discussed it together with the cinematographer to understand what things we had done correctly and what things we could do better next time, and also to all the time keep the understanding in our own heads of what visuals do we already have and what we are lacking. So like you have to have this memory bank inside of you all the time to know what do you have when you are going on a shoot, and what you will be looking out to get from the next shoot. So you cannot just go just randomly, I guess, or when maybe on the first days when you are shooting, when you are just at the beginning of the shooting period, then you are kind of researching or trying to get to know the character. And then yes, then you don't need that much preparedness maybe. But the more you develop deeper into the days of shooting, the more you must be prepared for the next shooting day. So, for example, we had this problem with the cinematographer that because he comes from the fiction film background, he used to take the shots in the calculation that there will be lots of cuts, that we have this frame, and then he quickly moves the camera towards the other person and gets the person of the frame of the other person. But often in the case of documentary film, you actually don't want to make that many cuts. So it is advisable to move the camera really slowly from one person to the other, to use a lot of panning actually, because then you can make this feeling that it is a real situation, that when the camera doesn't cut, you are continuously being together with your characters. It makes the situation more realistic. So this is, for example, just one example of what we discovered when watching through the material before going on the next shoot. And then we did it better the next time.
Okay, dear participants, if you have any question, you may ask. Otherwise, yeah, you may post a question. Have you made any other documentaries like related to science?
No, I have not. I am still quite much at the beginning of my documentary film career, as I just finished my studies. I believe my next project will be again connected to the forest topic. So I'm getting more in depth with the science topics. And this time I would like to make a wider panorama of the problem here in Estonia, and get the chance to make interviews with different representatives of organizations that are connected to the forestry issues.
Okay, there was one more question. How did you script before shooting, and how much it changed when editing?
Mm-hmm. Well, the way that we were taught in the university where we studied was to not make too detailed scripts, actually, because there is a big difference between a fiction film and a documentary film. You cannot really predict life, and you cannot really lead life in the same way as if you are making a fiction storytelling. You must be all the time open for things to happen and really grow this alertedness inside of you of what are different ways to go. So maybe this is what you do before getting into the shooting period, is that you are just calculating in your head which are the possible options of how the story may or may not lead. You may think who are the important other characters in the main character's life with who you would like to with who you would like that your main character is having contact with, and you can organize those meetings, so to say. You can let's say visualize the main elements or like wider blocks of what your film could be consisting of. Like that, this film, my film, it should have nature shots of beautiful and lush nature, also the visuals of cut down areas. It should have Matti being with his family, having this more closer personal, emotional moments, and in the same time, when he's doing his work and his conservationist work. And yes, during this film, I think it changed quite much during the editing of what we had thought and what finally came out. Yeah, it's just because you cannot really predict life in that sense.
Yeah, there is one more question. How did you manage the fund for your documentary?
Mm-hmm. This documentary is actually made with a very small budget, and funding for it came from the university. So it was an easy option. We didn't have to do much. We just got this certain sum, which was not too much, from the university. And most of the people who were connected with helping to make the film ready were also university students. So they cooperated out of their own interest to better their skills. But now, for example, when I would like to make my first professional documentary, I would need to, in Estonia, we have Estonian Film Institute, which is the main source for getting funding for documentaries. So I will need to write a project to the Film Institute and ask the money from there.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any more questions, dear participants? Otherwise, we'll wind up this session and we'll move on to paper presentation. Yeah, I think we are done with the questions. Thank you so much for your time and joining us from Estonia and sharing your experience. And what you have done during your student days is really fantastic, which is really motivating to our students to do such kind of work. And the kind of hard work you have put in can we can see in through this movie. And basically this was the intention, where how during your study how you can make the best documentary. Thank you so much for joining and exchanging your ideas, views, and experience with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Dear participants, we will move on to paper presentation.